Welcome back to Little R&R. Join Russ Johns and Ronald Earl Wilsher as they discuss life, liberty, and all things extraordinary. They're untapped, uncensored, unabridged.
Hey, we're here. We're back. We're in the studio sharing a useful, informative, educational message.
That's RussJohns.com.
And RonaldEarlWilsher.com.
Pretty close.
Do you like RonaldEarlWilsher.com or RonaldWilsher.com?
Yes.
Either one gets you to the exact same place.
I've got like 11 or 13 versions registered.
I know.
So
I stayed with one. I have several business accounts that I use across the Ethernet. So
well, you already sound like a movie star, Russ. I'm working up to that. So
well, we're going to build this together, and we want to make sure that you're tagging along with us and getting a little bit of information as we go through this. The whole point of this podcast is, like we've talked about so many times, is we just want to help provide a little seed of information that is going to allow you to increase, update, share, educate something about your brand. If it increases your email list, if it helps out with your website, if it helps out with anything you're doing, we're just rambling here and sharing.
Well, you're rambling. I'm always very strategic, Russ.
Yeah, I know that. And also, so as we go down these lists, we want to make sure that we talk about, some of the photographs, some of the elements in your website, some of the newsletter things, tips and tricks that you're doing, some of the blogs and podcasts that we like and enjoy and learn from. Every single day is an education, so we want to make sure that we continue improving every single day.
And what we want to do is give you things. I learned a long time ago from a guy I know. He said, adults are not interested in learning something unless it can impact their life now. So our goal with these podcasts is, number one, to have fun, but number two, to provide you with something that you can literally listen to the podcast, go implement it now, and see an impact not only in your business but in your life.
Absolutely. Well, and we talk about things, motivational topics. We're both speakers. We get out in public. We like to share our message, and we want to make sure that you can pick something up that you enjoy or appreciate. And if there's a topic that we haven't touched base on or we haven't mentioned yet, drop us a line. You can
Google is your friend.
Yeah, Ronald at RonaldWilsher.com.
Or Russ at RussJohns.com.
And you can send us an email and post it on Facebook or Twitter, or track us down on Twitter, follow us on Facebook.
Yeah, just you'll know where to find us.
Yeah. So we were talking about landing pages and some of the importance of being consistent across your platforms. And one of the things that you can do that helps in that consistency, Ronald, is a picture, a photograph, a message.
And I used to be, and this is a good point to bring up, Russ. I used to have a professional photograph of me across every single one of my online accounts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that. Uh-huh. But I've kind of, what's the new word now, evolved in that. I think you should go and definitely have some professional photographs taken. It's a good investment in your personal brand, something that captures you in a more professional setting.
So you still want to be authentic.
You still want to be authentic, but I think it's, there's, for example, there's a lot of sides to me. I occasionally do wear a uniform that's called a suit, with the little thing around your neck.
Choker?
The rope.
Choker?
So I definitely think there's room for that. Yeah. But also, a lot of people that follow me, you'll notice, I take pictures of myself or with when I'm with the skinny blonde, Catherine Crawford.
Right.
And we just post them, just how we are. So I think it's good to have not only a professional portfolio done that you can use on certain things, but also to have some more laid back stuff. And it's okay. And for all the people who say, "Oh, I'm not photogenic." Yes, you are.
You're just not comfortable looking at your photograph.
Right, and you're this new medium. But see, people think, and I think we may have talked about this before, but people think in pictures. So it's how the human brain works. If I say, red Corvette to you, Russ,
Yeah.
do you think REDCORV? No, you think of a red Corvette.
I immediately come up with a picture in my brain.
Right, and that's how we think. So pictures, I've always said, your name is your, how did I put this the other time? Your name is your brand, your face is your logo.
Right.
And so
That's a great way of thinking about it.
it's a good way of thinking about it. I don't know where I heard
restate that. Your name is your brand,
and your face is your logo. Because we talk about this a lot, Russ, and I do a lot, and I know
I really
you
like the new logo for the podcast.
You did a great job on that.
But we need some faces along there at some point in time.
Well, there's a place for a logo, and I know my new daughter-in-law, Ashley Lynch, well, it's not Lynch anymore, it's Ashley Wilsher.com did that. But anyway.
Thank you, Ashley.
You did a great job. The check is in the mail. Oh, wait, I already paid her. Anyway.
Excellent.
Here's the thing. You've got to go out and develop the courage to be who you are and not worry about what other people think. If you're out there doing what you feel is right for you, then you're going to attract the kind of person that you want to attract.
That has nothing to do with technology.
And it really has nothing to do with technology.
Or your website.
Just
get comfortable with who you are.
Right.
Be authentic, and that's your brand.
That's your brand, and then I always say, try not to be, a lot of this stuff we talk about, Russ, here's our disclaimer.
It's not secret.
If you're an idiot, none of this works, right?
Or you can understand and appreciate all of it and not do any of it.
Exactly. That's the other end of the spectrum. You kind of
get to the same goal.
Right. But as we talked about earlier, you can correct something, you can't correct nothing. So just go out there and start something, and once you get it started, you develop the energy. But the point was on the pictures is get you a good photographer.
Yeah.
We know several good ones. If you want,
we can make recommendations.
I know a lady that did some of ours that we've got a lot of really good feedback from is twocreativebirds.com.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Gabriel and Bonnie.
Huh.
I've had my picture taken a lot. They were really, 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 really cool. So that's another thing we want on these podcasts is we want to
put a style together.
Yeah, and I have a lot of y'all know, and Russ, I have a really nice camera, and people are always asking me, "Are you a photographer?" I'm like, "I have a camera, don't I?" Well, just because you have a camera, that doesn't make you a photographer.
Well, I think I picked something up the other day online that suggested that the new Windows Media phone is going to have a 56 megapixel camera. And that's...
That and what, $6 will get you some coffee at Starbucks, right?
Wow. It's literally, it's insane to think number of years ago what I spent for a 1 megapixel camera.
Oh, that was your point you're making, yeah.
Well,
it's overkill, a lot of it.
There's platforms, Instagram, Vine, photo, pics. There's thousands of, simple, you could take photographs all day. However, that's different than taking,
a professional portfolio. Right, that's a good point. So that's why I'm saying, to kind of sum this up, is you need a professional portfolio. Gabe and Bonnie, Two Creative Birds, they'll get you what you want.
Yeah.
Or Russ, you might know somebody. But the main thing is, once you start doing your one sheet, as we talked about, that's a good place to have a professional picture. Once you start doing your business card, that may be a good place to have a professional picture.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, I think that's a little different group over there, right? And so put it on LinkedIn. But a lot of my other stuff, I just have very casual pictures of
very candid, casual pictures.
Absolutely.
Hey, we're going to take a short pause for the cause and take a break and get some hydration in. So don't go away. Don't touch that dial.
We'll be back.
Good day. Hey everyone, it's Russ Johns here, and thank you so much for being with us on the podcast today. Ronald Earl Wilsher and I will entertain, educate, and inform you about things you need to know as you're building your personal brand. Stay tuned and don't go away.
Are we recording now, Mr. R?
We've been recording. I'm just the editor, so I'm catching all this stuff.
Well, welcome back to a Little R&R with RussJohns.com.
And RonaldEarlWilsher.com.
What we're talking about is the life cycle of a piece of content, or the lifespan. And I have a lot of people ask me.
Well, before the break, we actually were talking about the photographs and pictures. And just to recap, we want to make sure that you have appropriate, consistent photographs, images across all your platforms.
Right.
So when they go to LinkedIn, it's not substantially different than your landing page when they're going on the thing. The other thing that we wanted to mention is, we talked about the Google Analytics, not analytics, but the alert, so when people are talking about you. And then the next thing we're working on or talking about is the content. When you post something, where do you want it to go? What's the life cycle of this content?
And what I have a lot of people ask me, Russ, first of all, what do you do every day in your business? What do you do every week? What do you do every month?
Yeah.
Well, as most people that know me...
Because it is consistency.
Oh, consistency is the name of the game. Empire building requires courage and patience and consistency. But as most people that know me, this will come as no surprise. I'm not real structured in anything I do, in the true sense of the word. I always say creativity functions best in a non-structured environment. But having said that, I do believe that you have to have some kind of map, some kind of guidelines to go by.
Well, there's a framework.
A framework, that's another good word. So what we're going to talk about is, I tell people all the time, you not only own the media, you are the media.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is using this new media to start conversations with people. You're basically advertising, but it's not old offline advertising where it's push. Buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, right? That's push. You hear Mattress Mac, 18 times in 1 hour. Yeah. It's the same commercial. That's push, okay? The new media is not push. It is listen and engage, see?
So I can dial it in anytime.
You can dial it in anytime, but the big difference is you don't want to say, hey, Russ, my name is Ronnie. Have I told you how good my stuff is? Would you buy my stuff? Here's a link.
Yeah.
See, and how many people do you know that do that? You'll accept their friend request, right?
Some people call that spam.
Well, I don't think it's spam to a lot. Technically, it is spam because that's how you look at it.
Yeah.
Or what's the word? You're looking at it like that, right? Yeah, but technically it's not spam because it's a real person, and they're not doing it to everyone. But my point is, when you first meet somebody, don't hit them in the face with your business. I mean, this happens a lot offline. So what we want to talk about...
Well, I've seen you go through an entire networking opportunity or an event and not tell anybody what you do.
Well, and I don't because that's not what I'm there for.
Well, there's some psychology behind that, and I think it's important that people understand why.
Well, here's the psychology, and we've said this before. It's more important to understand the psychology of the new media than it is to understand the technology of the new media, because basic human psychology really never changes. Technology is always changing. So learn the psychology. And so when I go to networking events, number one, I'm not there to sell anybody anything. What am I there for? I'm there to start a conversation with somebody that has a sense of humor. If they have a sense of humor, I'll add them to my Way Cool Friends list. If they don't, interview over, stud. We're done, okay? So why do I not tell people what I do, Russ?
To engage in the conversation to find out if they have a sense of humor.
Well, I'm not there to sell, first of all.
Right. And when you discover they have a sense of humor or they can actually carry on a dialogue, then there's not a transaction happening other than the fact that I understand a little bit more about what you're doing.
I'll add you to my Way Cool Friends list. I'll add you to, what do you call your list?
Name in the game. Get your name in the game.
Get your name in the game. You want your name in the game? Which I like that. I think we talked about this game. Right. Yeah. What is that, Russ? Yeah, I want my name in the game. So you add them to your list, and then I'll start putting my name and face in front of them. But people come up to me all the time, and they go, Ronnie, you never told me what you do for a living. I'm like,
you're right.
Yeah, you're right, I didn't.
Have a nice day.
No, I don't say that. I don't say anything. Invariably after that, what do they ask me?
Well, what is it exactly?
What is it you do? And as many people know, I hang around this little skinny blonde with curly hair.
Yeah.
And big ideas.
Yeah.
She's very intelligent.
And
so I say,
some wine, enjoy the day.
I say, see that skinny blonde over there? We hang out.
Yeah.
We drink a lot of wine. We have fun. We're very fortunate. We're very blessed. But we're very aware of it.
And then we do it again tomorrow.
And then you know what we do the next day? We do it again. Now, again, here's what's really, really important about what I say to those people. And a lot of you will, that this has happened to, you'll know. I'm only trying to determine if they have a sense of humor. If they don't, interview's over.
Yeah.
The conversation's over. If they do have a sense of humor, then we'll kind of talk a little. And then, of course, I'll probably offer them either a card or I'll say something. Hey, I'll add you to my Way Cool Friends list. It's nice to meet you. That's all I do, okay? And it's no more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So that's part of understanding why you're at a networking meeting, which will probably be a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast.
But our point is in all this is to, what was our point? Where were we going?
Well, we were talking about getting...
the content.
Get the content.
Yeah, we kind of went off a little. So
yeah.
Let's say you're the media now. You have this platform set up, and you record a video. Well, once you record a video, don't put it on Facebook first. Put it on YouTube first, right? Because if you put it on Facebook, then you can't share it on YouTube.
You have to share it from
YouTube to Facebook, to your email list, all the other places.
Okay.
So anytime you make a video, always put it on YouTube first.
That's a tweetable.
That's a tweetable. And once you've got to properly tag it, you've got to properly do your name at the end and blah, blah, blah. We'll go into that again. Actually, we'll probably do that on another podcast talking about YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But once you get that...
stay tuned, folks.
It's all coming. All the answers to all your questions of life will be answered.
And you never know which episode it's going to be found in.
So once you get this content, now you go start sharing it on platforms. You have a YouTube video, go put it in your email. Go share it on your Facebook business page or personal page, depending on the content. Go tweet it. Go put it on Pinterest. I have a board on Pinterest that just has all my videos on it. So the whole goal of when you create content...
So you can post videos on Pinterest.
Correct.
And that's key to understand because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, well, I tell people, Russ, if you hang around us, you'll get really smart.
Yeah.
So, no, a lot of these things that I've learned...
I've had years of knowledge hanging out with me.
Well, I tell people...
I've not missed a single day.
I've been here my whole life. Well, I met this guy one time. He's an old man. I go, have you lived here your whole life? He goes... Well, son, I hope not. He said, I hope I have a few days left. And I'm like just sitting there laughing, because, but anyway, so yeah, that's one of the things that's going to be about this podcast is going to be about is once you create content, now you go out and start sharing it so you can start conversations. Now, you don't have to be on every platform every day. For instance, I'm on LinkedIn about 3 minutes, 5 minutes a month. But I have a very big following over there, and it's all linked back to ronaldwilsher.com.
So how did you gain a following in LinkedIn, being there 3 to 5 minutes a month?
Well, I'm not the world's biggest follower, but I have like 1,700 or 1,800 first-level connections.
Okay.
But see, and this is a whole other point, Russ, is you've only got so much time in a day. So what you have to determine is where do you want to spend that time? I choose my time in my day. If I'm online, Facebook or email first. Yeah. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Repeat that again for.
I spend my time online. Facebook, email first. If I do nothing else for that week, I send out an email almost every week, without exception, for 4.5 years. Secondly, I'll use Facebook. 1.15 billion active users. I'm now getting more and more into YouTube. I've got about maybe close to 100 videos on YouTube.
Which we're going to be starting to...
talk about and record.
And we're going to record.
So you'll get to see us, not only hear us talk, you'll get to see us talk. That'll be cool.
Is that going to be a members only?
Hey, we'll do like Russ Limbaugh does. That's the you have to pay like $7 a month to watch us.
Yeah.
Well, and if we get like 5 million paying us $7 a month, then
that'd be okay.
I say this to let you know. See, you own the media. You have access to the world.
Imagine the possibilities.
The possibilities with this new media are endless.
And we are the media.
And we're the media. We own the media, right? So we want to get you to think. Use your brilliant mind.
And one of the things that I help clients with is, automation. Because you're talking about these platforms that you go to every, very systematically, your email list.
Right.
There's a lot of things that you can do to automate some of the things that you do with email as well.
Right.
And going through that process is as you graduate and learn the technology.
And your confidence becomes higher.
Yeah.
Now, a little caveat I always tell people, though, you got to understand it's difficult to outsource personality.
Well, that's the one thing you cannot outsource is yourself.
Right. So be careful about how you automate stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can't have a conversation with somebody that's authentic through a virtual assistant. Right? However, you can actually write very reliable statements that you actually create yourself, and then set those off to responses to questions.
Right.
Because there's going to be across the duration of time, you're going to have same questions come back over and over and over again. And if you've already crafted that response once, save it as a response and say, hey, this is an appropriate response for somebody that's asking that question, right?
Right. Well, and another thing I tell people is you have to, every piece of content that you write, that you put out on the interwebs, that you put out on your platform, you write it like you're speaking to your perfect customer or to your perfect prospect or your perfect that you want on your email list.
Yeah.
Just write it to that one person, because that's what you want to attract. I think a big mistake people make is they try to be all things to all people. I
think in the next podcast we're going to talk about how you decide what that is.
I think that's a good idea, Russ.
Well, and we're going to wrap up this one then, and we're going to go on to another podcast next time.
And I'm sure it'll be as good or better than this one.
Everyone is going to improve. And here's the caveat, though. There's bits of information. There's seeds of advice in every single podcast we deliver. So pay attention. Join us. Follow us.
Tell your friends.
Track us down on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. And listen in. And we enjoy, and thank you so much for being here. And we really appreciate your time and effort. And we want to make sure that you get the information you're looking for.
That you can use now.
And take a little R&R, uncensored,
untapped,
and unabridged.
That's RussJohns.com.
And RonaldWilsher.com.
Good day.
Later.